Hey guys, this is Kris Jones for episode 42 of Ask Me Anything. Today I am going to explore a question from an entrepreneur by the name of Gerard Durling, who, in addition to founding and serving as CEO of Cole Creative, who is the video production company behind this video series, his entrepreneurship has taken him on a really exciting course for a professional wrestling live TV stream called Powerbomb TV. So that's the context of this question. And he said, Kris, I am, from the point of view of a prospective investor, right? So that's, I guess, me. He's coming up on a premier live streaming event, and he's debating a very common issue that a lot of us face when we're about to launch. Do you put up a paywall? You know, should you go with a freemium model? Should you just be outright free and then maybe have a monetization strategy around ads? Should you charge a subscription fee? Should you be a hybrid, like I said, premium? But so he's been debating this with his team and in his brain. And he's kind of leaning, it seems like. I don't want to put words in his mouth. I'm just kind of reading the Facebook message he sent me. But he seems like he's leaning towards wanting to bring in some capital because that could help him kind of prepare for that next event. But so he said, we want to make as much money as we can, but making a decision between free and paid could be the difference of, say, 500 paid subscriptions or 1,500 or several thousand free trials, where he would collect user information and also collect a credit card. So it looks like, Gerard, you're really kind of contemplating two of the three models. So you're contemplating either freemium or free. Again, freemium meaning I'll give you access to tonight's event, but for free, but in so doing, we're going to start charging you a subscription fee at some later date. So from an investor point of view, what would I want to see, and what would I think others would want to see? I really don't think we'll care much about the paywall. I think it would be interesting if you executed it, but what we really want to see is product market fit. We want to see engagement with the product. We want to see happy users who want to come back again. I was just in a meeting yesterday, and here's the question I asked them, because they were trying to figure out their business model. What one feature do you guys currently offer in your app that, if taken away, people would get really angry, right? That's more important. You want to know what your secret sauce is. Now, being a live streaming service, it's either, they have access to the live content or not. But what I would want to see is what people love about your product. And you don't need, by the way, a huge audience to demonstrate product market fit. And in fact, no matter what you do, you're going to have super users. Every business model does. Those are the people that, if you take anything away, they're going to be angry because they're just super enthusiastic about professional wrestling or independent professional wrestling. So showing that is going to be critical. Like, if you can't show power users, then you really need to modify the product and do it in a certain way to at least have that base. So you're going to want to show an investor why your power users freaking love your product. Importantly, though, after that, because that could be a relatively interesting but small audience compared to the total addressable market, which is what investors invest in. Investors, the smart investors, smart meaning not just money. There's other ways that I could define that, but I think that gets the point. Smart money wants to see that users are intrigued or interested or don't want you to take away a certain feature, and would contemplate paying you if you were to to potentially take something away from them, but they're not your super user. If you could show traction with those users coming out of your event, that's what I would focus on. I don't really think the debate is whether or not you make a bunch of money on it or not. If you were to pitch me post-event, I'd be looking for traction. I wouldn't care as much how much money you're making because you're a new company. Any investor would realize that what we're really looking at is that total addressable market and the market size. We don't suspect that you need to come in and present, crazy numbers. If you have positive numbers, you should share them. That should be part of the pitch, but it is not required in order to win investment. What is required is the demonstration that people want what you have and they're willing to pay for it, or they might be willing to pay for it, which freemium would potentially lead to that, where free might not, right? So one other point I wanted to make, because I had thought this through, is that monetization may influence how much money you need to raise, right? So if you do raise some money up front, it could be just a strategic decision that has, less to do with how much you raise, but when you raise. So if you are able to kind of push it down the timeline a little bit, chances are you'll be able to raise, either more money or at a higher valuation once you have traction. But it won't stop the smart investor from investing. We don't really care. We want to see some traction, and preferably a guy like me, early stage, I would love to get to you before you actually blew up. I'd want to see some key metrics around how users are engaging with your service. And I think that's it. If you were hoping for a more careful explanation of the nuances and differences between freemium versus outright paid, and also the idea of a freemium that requires a credit card versus a freemium that doesn't, that's not for this show, but we could chat about that in private, or I could bring it up at a later date. Hope that was useful. More than happy to engage with you in the future on this. If anyone has questions, please post them below for this episode or a future episode. If not, I will see you guys in episode 43. Peace.